we've seen it face to face presently with folks just going after folks. A brother just got shot, I think, in South Carolina. He was jogging, and a dude pulled up in his car. It's on tape. Shot a brother while he was jogging. Yeah, I did it because he was black. Like, that's the element that this administration, in my opinion, has brought out. So when we talk about him doing good things, him going after illegal immigrants is a great thing. The way he's doing it is piss poor, un-American, and it's dehumanizing. And so that's the difference between him and Barack Obama. Not that the camera is on Donald Trump. President Barack Obama made the same message. He did a press conference and he said, if you are in this country illegally, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we find some great method. But if you are a criminal, he said, know this, the United States government is coming for you. And that's exactly what he did. Now, did other people get swept up in that sweep? I'm sure they did. I got a friend, bro. And this is the other side, what I'm going to talk about. Not everybody is getting treated the same.
Yeah.
With this administration when deportation comes into place. And I think that's the miscommunication. It's like, oh, everything he's doing is bad. No, a lot of bad is being done. I got a friend she's from Ghana, bro. She just learned when her dad died last year that she was not a United States citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That was this year. She just learned this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've known her since my childhood. I'm like, what do you mean she's not a what? I would have never have thought that, but her parents never told her. Mm. So ICE came to her job looking for her, but she was off work that day. See, that's the thing. They know where to find people, bro. They have tapped into some information and some privacy parts of this. Like the DACA recipient list has become an ICE administration hit list.
Yeah.
That's problematic when these folks have certain protections. So when we talk about due process being for those on American soil, be you illegal or be you not, we're talking about the bounds of the Constitution that are now being slowly stripped away piece by piece and brick by brick. So she went to immigration on her own and let them know what was up. Now, you would think we have the cameras in the face. Oh, man, they shipping my girl out of the country. No, they were like, hey, she's not even allowed to leave the country, even for vacation, until they work out her immigration status. But that's the story that's not being told.
Yeah,
not everybody going to immigration is running into that kind of ICE problem. You know, There are a lot of people who are, but there are some who are not.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, to your point. I mean, there's a lot of my wife's cousin's husband went through some stuff too. You know, this is what I say. I'll say that, and I said this to my wife last week. We were talking about this, and I said, you know, one of the issues with Donald Trump is that the things that he is doing good are also being overshadowed or muddled in with the things. So some of the things he's doing good are going to be overshadowed by the things he's doing bad, meaning that even when he is doing something that he should be doing, the rhetoric and the way he goes about it overshadows it. So you can't really see some of the good from the bad, right? So
I'm still waiting to hear the good, though. That's what I'm waiting to hear.
Well, for example, actually, I would say the good is actually dealing with immigration. So he came in office. Joe Biden's administration had the border open, essentially the southern border open for the most part, and people were pouring in every day. You know, that's just the reality. I know people like to deny it, but it's just true. He came in, he said, okay, with executive order, we're going to close the border. And let's just imagine for a minute Donald Trump had more manners. He was better spoken. He was more like a Barack Obama from a mannerism perspective, and did some of the same things he's doing now. People would probably either not know about it or they would consider it to be good. At the end of the day, closing the border is just normal. Only in America that we feel almost like everybody is entitled to just be here, So the only thing I feel that, with immigration, it's almost a thing where we've almost turned black people in this country. And I always get a little bit weird when black people get wrapped up in immigration, because we turn it into this, we're all brown and
it's our issue.
Yeah, it's our issue. Like we turn it into like, oh, we need to be frontline. So I see people marching and I see people getting mad, and I'm like, well, the border's not supposed to be open. If you go in and you travel, you've been to other countries, right? So if you go and you go to another country and you come in, just pop in, walk through the border, or you overstay your visa. I'm a guy. I'm a first generation Ghanaian, right? I was grew up in Illinois in America, right? But when I went to Ghana for the first time, I had to get a visa. They didn't. I couldn't just hop on a plane and just go to Accra. When I get to Accra, they want to see your visa. I got a three
Yeah,
month visa now,
Visa and that yellow card, bro.
and a yellow card. Yes, a yellow card. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I go there for the first time as an adult, and I have a 3 month visa. Now, if I just decide to stay, I don't know what would have happened, right? But they do have laws.
You know what's gonna happen, bro.
Well, I'm being, for the
I
most
don't know
part,
how they trace stuff the way they do over there, but I heard them cats don't play, bro.
they don't play. They don't play.
Yeah,
And
which
they're
is your point, right?
and to my point, and Ghana is a nicer country. God forbid you go to another country and you just show up and decide you're going to stay. So I'm just like, in America, it's almost like we feel, and when I say we, I mean black and
I
brown
got you.
people, we have
Yeah,
this thing where we feel like, oh, well, they should be here. I've had debates with people where they're like, I said, well, what do you think should happen to all the people that just came in the past like past 3 years? Well, they should just stay. They should just be here. And I'm like, well, no, that doesn't make sense, bro, because at the end of the day, following immigration law, closing the borders is something that every country does. So I think differentiating or detangling what's right and what's wrong is where I say, okay, well, it's not a bad thing to say, well, Trump did do the right thing with immigration. If so, for example, if Kamala Harris had become president and she did nothing with the border and people had kept coming in, I think that would have been wrong as a president. It just would have
do
been
you do
wrong.
you do you think that it's okay for him to invite white South Africaners? What they call them? Africa. What do they
Yeah.
call them?
You know,
Do you think it's so? Do you think it's okay for him to say that white people in South Africa are being slaughtered and we're bringing them here, which is false information that has been debunked several times? And so, like, let's
so
just take this dude's comments about Somalis, right? Like, this dude just made probably the most horrendous comments
well,
about all Somalian people.
before we do Somalia, real
Yeah.
quick, I just want to
Yep.
address the South African thing. So the South
Yeah.
African thing, I do agree. I agree, but what I mean by that, we have this black and brown loyalist idea to say, okay, the South Africans, it was like, I don't know, it might have been, I don't know, 6,000 or 9,000 of them. And then the people coming from the south of the border, there's different arguments, but it was anywhere between 10 and 20 million. So I agree with you. You might say, okay, well, why would he allow South Africans to come? Okay, I understand that. But I'm like, at the same time, the numbers are completely not even comparable. So,
They're not. They're not
so
comparable. But my point is just dealing with immigration the exact same way. And I'll quote Brandon Johnson. When 37,000 Ukrainians got sent here, there was no uproar in the black community at all. You know why? Because they didn't put the Ukrainians in the black community. They put the Ukrainians in other areas, north side and suburbs, right? But
sure,
nobody had a thing to say about 37,000 something Ukrainians coming here at all, right? Nobody had anything to say. And
right,
that was done by the Biden administration, right?
right,
So that's clear. Nobody had anything to say. When we talk about, see, it's easy to talk about Chicago being a sanctuary city or New York being a sanctuary city versus the Republican governor who shipped them to these places because they're um because they're sanctuary cities, right? Texas took money that the government gives them to facilitate ensure and securing the borders for those. They get money for those immigrants who are coming across to keep them contained and get them back across. But that governor took that money and just shipped them folks to Chicago, to Boston, to Minnesota, I think, and to New York, right? And California. Like chartered a plane to California for these folks. However, them folks got there in California. But it's easier to point the finger at the cities that are welcoming as opposed to the people who are facilitating the instead of, if he could put them on a bus, he could have turned them right back around across that border. As far as I'm concerned, if he could put them on a plane, he could have turned them right back around that border. No, thank you, United States government, for your money. I appreciate it, but we're not going to take care of these folks. We're going to send them to those cities that are
Well,
doing it.
well, think about this though. Here's the issue though. See, the people who live in Texas, the border towns. So when people are coming over in Texas and California, I mean, they're the ones that are bearing the brunt of this. So it's not like it just started for them, you know. And the thing about the sanctuary cities, you know, I think that Greg Abbott, bust them out of just frustration because if you live, I never lived in a border state. I've never dealt with it. But if you live in a border state and you see your country, your president is not keeping the border closed, I would be mad. So for instance, like I tell people all the time, I don't know of anywhere, any country where you could have millions of people just coming in. I just
Land of the free, baby, home of the brave.
well, well that well that, exactly.
We the big American melting pot. Like that's
But
the thing that makes America America, right?
of
It's the
course,
melting pot of the world.
but you can't absorb that. The reality is
I agree.
you can't absorb that many people. If you could absorb that many people and it wasn't a problem, then I tell people, then why did Barack deport people? Why didn't he just keep the 4 million people that he deported? If that's the case, why would they not be able to stay and
Resources.
naturalize all those people, right?
Yeah.
So what I say to black people when it comes to immigration is that um and I have the founders of Chicago Flip Red. They've been on this program a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you got to connect me with them people, bro.
So they coming back on next week. Now, here's the thing,
When?
huh?
When?
They coming back on Monday, 2 days from now.
Yeah, yeah. You
But
tap me into that, bro.
but
I'm gonna be watching.
here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. So if you look at the black people in the country, like you said earlier, they didn't put everybody. They didn't put the Ukrainians in the black neighborhood. They put all the people who came south of the border. They put them in the black neighborhoods. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't understand anybody getting mad about immigration outside of what you're saying. The treatment of people. That there's definitely cases and situations where ICE is heavy-handed or Donald Trump's rhetoric is heavy-handed with immigration.